We have a few reasons why we chose to decide on the 20% tax. The first of which is because we have to consider the government's stand on whatever we want to do. Because the government has to be the one that approves the making of a tax. Therefore, we want to have a number that is small enough such that the government feels that it's acceptable and yet it's big enough to still cause an impact. Shark's fin soup is imported in great amounts in Singapore. In fact, I believe we are second in the world apart from Hong Kong. This shows that there's a great demand for shark's fin soup in Singapore, and the government would recognize this. However, if we choose to put too high of a tax, this may result in lesser imports into Singapore, since people are unwilling to have such high taxes imposed upon them. So we have to consider the government's stand, because the government will not want to lose such a large amount of revenue for the overall industry in Singapore. Yet, however, if we were to propose a 20% tax, it is a significant number enough such that the government does get a certain portion of the money from the tax that would go to them, since there's a 20% tax. If the government could consider the fact that the 20% tax that they have gotten is higher than the previous amount of 10% GST tax that they have received, as long as the government is able to meet or to even exceed the amount of taxes that they are taking in, I believe that the government will be more than willing to try and continue and support this tax, since this tax would show that it is both environmentally conscious, and it also does not cause the government to have a slowdown in the amount of tax collected and the amount of revenue that it can use at its disposal. Second of which is because we want to consider the nature of these consumers. While my group and definitely there are people around us who do not feel that consuming shark's fin soup is a good thing, this does not represent that people who are really continuing to consume shark's fin soup would feel completely at ease at just dropping it immediately. If we impose too high of a tax, this may result in significant backlash against the government, and this may not be good, because if consumers feel that the prices are too high, they may result to more violent, or they may do things that are not exactly good, because if the prices are too high and they shoot up too quickly, there will be a lot of complaints from Singaporeans. And while we want to support, we want to show our stand as well, if there are large amounts of consumers who are violently protesting against our 20% tax, against a tax that is higher than 20%, this would be negative on us, since we want to be able to get them to stop consuming shark's fin soup permanently. Because if the tax is high, this may not effectively deter them from stopping, but it just means that they cannot do it. Because we want consumers to be able to make the conscious decision to decide not to consume shark's fin soup, instead of having to be forced and permanently force them to consume shark's fin soup. The third point that I have is that we want to consider the standpoint of the restaurants. The restaurants are the ones who will receive the direct impact of the tax, since they will have to make a decision on what kind of prices they want to choose to set on shark's fin soup. Our survey with several restaurant managers has shown that restaurant managers will be more than likely to increase their prices if a tax was in place. Yet, however, if a tax was too high, they may resort to having to absorb some of the tax that has been placed upon them, so that they can offer consumers a lower price. If they choose to do so, they would have to do so if they want to keep the demand of their shark's fin at a reasonable amount, since there's no point importing such large amounts of shark's fin soup if nobody is going to buy it. So because they are going to consider the standpoint of their consumers, we feel that a 20% tax would be about an enough level such that they would be able to raise the prices of shark's fin soup without facing severe negative repercussions, such that they would have to decide to absorb the cost, in which case the shark's fin soup prices would go down and our tax would be virtually meaningless. Therefore, because of these three factors that we have to consider, I feel that 20% tax is the crucial number, such that you do not force people to do anything violent, and yet it will be accepted by the general public.